Over the past couple of seasons, Jared Goff has often been ranked very low when it came to professional analyst opinions in terms of quarterback rankings. But in today's episode, we're going to be talking about how one of his top haters finally gave the man some damn respect. It's going to get fun for today's episode, folks, so stay tuned.
What are we? What makes us what we are and what we're going to be? It's grit. It's what we started with last year, guys. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I will beat your ass.
Can definitely compete with the big dogs.
10-5 end zone touchdown Detroit Lions.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, all Lions fans, and welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike, and as always, we're diving on in. So, as you all know, I like to pay attention to what various analysts, what different people are saying in terms of the NFL in regards to various rankings. Doesn't matter if it's team power rankings, doesn't matter if it's certain rankings as far as, offensive line rankings, wide receiver core rankings, running back tandems, I don't care. I pay attention because that right there kind of lets me know, depending upon where the rankings are at for certain groups, for certain people, how the Lions are viewed throughout the entirety of the NFL. Or, to kind of put it more into a simpler view, is to say how that particular group is viewed from the rest of people in the NFL. So, one group that I have paid quite a bit of attention to is what various analysts have thought about quarterback Jared Goff. Because, as everybody knows, ever since I started my channel, I have been a stout Jared Goff defender. And if we go back to when Jared Goff first got here, he didn't have a whole lot of defenders. Now, obviously, over the years, they have definitely gotten more and more and more. But we have to understand something here. Jared Goff, you go back to the very early days when he first got here, there were not very many people that thought he was much of anything. Again, the narrative that was constantly being pushed out was that he was a bridge quarterback. He wasn't going to last long in Detroit. The Lions were looking to move off of him, blah, 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 blah. Not going back down that gravy train. The whole point of the matter is that was how it was when Goff first got here. And when Goff did first get here, virtually every single damn quarterback ranking from every analyst that was out there all pretty much viewed Goff as nothing more than a veteran quarterback that was at the bottom of the rung, and the Lions were just waiting to get rid of him. Well, let's think about this, folks. When it comes to quarterback rankings, there is one guy out there that every stinking year releases his quarterback power rankings, and that's Chris Sims. Chris Sims, every freaking year at the start of the year, releases his top quote-unquote 40 quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't know why the hell he calls 20. I don't know why he releases 40 quarterbacks when there's 32 starters. That to me has always puzzled me about his ranking system, because it's like there's freaking only 32 teams in the NFL. Why the hell do you have 40 quarterbacks? But c'est la vie. I'm not going to go into that. The point of the matter is that I've been keeping track every single year of when Jared Goff has been popping up on his quote-unquote power ranking system. Back in 2022, so obviously this is ranking from 2021 season and 2023 from 2022, so on and so forth. So it's the previous year for the ranking that's coming out. The 2022 season, Jared Goff was ranked by Chris Sims as number 30. So pretty much Chris Sims was pretty much saying that Jared Goff, he was pretty much crap, was what it was coming out to. There were quarterbacks that were in front of him that back then made no absolute sense why they were in front of him, such as Jameis Winston, Justin Fields, and a couple of other guys. But whatever. Jared Goff proved in 2022 he was definitely better than them, which is why in the 2023 ranking, Jared Goff jumped up almost, freaking half the spots that he was at, because he jumped from 30 to 17. But again, Jared Goff was still ranked way too damn low in my opinion and a lot of other people's opinion. It's like, dude, after the 2022 season, which, for crying out loud, you go back to that 2022 season that Jared Goff had, it was absolutely tremendous. Again, he was ranked 6th in passing yards. He was tied 5th in passing touchdowns. He had one of the highest touchdown to interception ratios as far as low interceptions to high touchdowns in the entirety of the NFL league. He had the 7th highest passer rating, and he had the 5th highest QBR. But yet somehow freaking Chris Sims looked at that and said, well, he's only 17th best in my board. Which again, if you take a look at the entirety of the NFL being 32 teams, Chris Sims pretty much just said, well, he's actually kind of below average or right there in the middle. Which again, to me was absolutely stupid. Which is why my biggest issue with Chris Sims is that his rankings absolutely make no damn sense. Whether in terms of where the player is ranked or who's in front of them. But this year, finally, Chris Sims decided to give Jared Goff some damn respect that he has well earned. He finally put Jared Goff at a spot that, at least for where he's at, is okay. I still don't think it's right where he should be, but it's okay. For the 2024 ranking, Chris Sims put him at number 10. Jared Goff is his 10th ranked quarterback on his board. Now, here's what I'm going to say. It's a good acknowledgement from Chris Sims that Jared Goff is at number 10. However, though, I still view Chris Sims as a hater. Chris Sims has always seemed to have it out for Jared Goff, and he never quite gives Jared Goff nearly as much credit as Goff has earned and what he's due. Let's just be fair and entirely honest here. I don't know why Chris Sims does it, but I think for whatever reason, Chris Sims just has an issue with Jared Goff, and he's just not willing to publicly acknowledge it. Because every single time I have taken a look at Chris Sims' rankings, there are guys that are in front of Jared Goff, and it's like, dude, I don't understand how those guys are in front of him. I can't understand how freaking Chris Sims could make an argument that those guys are in front of him. And this year's no different. Yesterday, Chris Sims put out the next, 3 or so quarterbacks that were on his list. Actually, it was 4 because there was 10, 9, 8, and 7. Of those 4 quarterbacks, Jared Goff was ranked number 10. The guys that were directly in front of him, at number 9 was Jalen Hurts. Number 8 was Dak Prescott, and number 7 was C.J. Stroud. Okay, I'm just going to say this right now. There's no way either of any of those 3 guys should be in front of Jared Goff, and there's for many reasons why. Here's the reason why Jalen Hurts should not be in front of Jared Goff. First and foremost, Jalen Hurts sucked booty hole freaking in 2023. And he especially was crap over the last month and a half of the regular season. And then the Eagles got absolutely embarrassed at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which then we played the Buccaneers when they came to our place in the divisional round. So it's like, how in the hell Jalen Hurts is still in the top 10 after having a very disappointing, very underperforming season in 2023, and especially with how poor he played in December and going into January last year? Again, beyond me. I can't understand how in the hell Jalen Hurts, who had such a, I'm trying my best not to be profane here, had such a terrible end to his season and did not play very well at all last year, is one spot in front of Jared Goff, but is still somehow in the top 10. That to me just doesn't make any sense. Then we take a look at Dak Prescott. Now, Dak Prescott, on the other hand, he actually had a good statistical year in 2023, so I can't use that excuse. However, though, the problem with Dak has always been the problem I've had with Dak, and it's what a lot of people have a problem with Dak. He's a perpetual choke artist. I cannot understand how Dak Prescott, having all the talent, all the weapons that he's had in Dallas, cannot seem to freaking win. I just don't understand that, and I especially can't understand it for last year. I cannot understand how the freaking Packers, an upstart team that most people weren't thinking was going to do much of anything last year, they go into Jerry World and they not only beat the Cowboys, they damn trounced them. They absolutely spanked them, took them to the woodshed. And Dak did absolutely very little to change the overall tide of that. Sure, the Cowboys put up, 30-plus points, but it's like, dude, that wasn't enough. Now, obviously, the Cowboys' defense is largely responsible for that, but it's like, dude, Dak should have been able to do more to try and stem the tide. So, again, I can't understand how Dak Prescott, who's supposedly like this great quarterback, has such a terrible freaking playoff record. It's put in front of Jared Goff, who last year, Jared Goff got the Lions 2 playoff game wins and got to the NFC Conference Championship game. I just don't get that. Because the ranking system should be based upon not only the stats you put up, but it also should also be based upon how well you did in certain moments throughout the season, which the Lions last year were very good in primetime games. They won their first 2 playoff games. They were within a whisker of going to the Super Bowl. So how Dak Prescott, who literally got embarrassed in the freaking wild card against the Packers, is in front of Jared Goff, again, makes no damn sense. And then we get to the one that absolutely, I think, is the dumbest one on this whole list. C.J. Stroud at number 7. Now, understand something here, folks. C.J. Stroud had an absolutely just stupendous, spectacular, awesome rookie year with the Houston Texans. Pardon me. Man, that got stuck in my throat for a second. But here's the problem. He's a rookie that year. I'm sorry. Rookie quarterbacks should not be ranked this high. I get it. Stroud is coming into his second year. But it's like, dude, he was a rookie. There was very little game film on him from being in the NFL. So, yeah, defenses are going to have to take time to try and adjust to him. Now, if Stroud performs like he did last year, this year, then absolutely he's deserving of that ranking. Next year, but not this year. C.J. Stroud should have been outside of the top 10, probably like in the 13, 14, maybe 12 range. But definitely not this damn high. For a rookie, that's way too high because, again, we have seen guys that have had one great year, maybe they had a good rookie year, and then all of a sudden they fall apart. So for putting Stroud at number 7 in front of a veteran like Jared Goff, who has been to a Super Bowl, been to 2 conference championship games with 2 separate teams, was able to bring the Lions 2 playoff wins, able to get the Lions the most regular season wins that they'd had, only the second time in their entire franchise history. Again, I don't understand how Goff is ranked lower than Stroud. I get it. Stroud had a great year with the Texans. I get it. The Texans were considered, again, a surprise team that nobody was expecting anything to happen. But again, I cannot fathom, I can't justify why a rookie should be placed in front of a veteran that was literally, again, a whisker away from going to the Super Bowl. That to me that's just a huge problem. It should also be based upon what the player did, but also what they did in regards to their club. I'm sorry, the Texans haven't been around as long as the Lions, and the Lions have been a lot more long-suffering than the Texans have been. So for me, that just doesn't make any sense. Now, the one other observation I'm going to say is this. Why I believe Jared Goff should be also ranked higher than these guys is because you have to take a look at Jared Goff's production in 2023. Again, you go back to the 2023 season, what Jared Goff put up, he had the 7th highest completion percentage rate in the entirety of the NFL. He had the 2nd most passing yards in the NFL. He had the 4th most passing touchdowns, 9th highest passer rating, and the 11th best QBR. Again, Jared Goff statistically was just very, very efficient, very good at what he did, and he still was great in the playoffs. And again, in the playoffs, he had no turnovers. Jared Goff was about as efficient and as clean as you possibly could be as a quarterback when the pressure was on the most. So that, again, is another reason as to why I can't understand why Chris Sims continues to rank Jared Goff lower or behind guys that should not be in front of him. Now, I will say this, just to kind of wrap this whole thing up. The one thing that Chris Sims did get right about this ranking system that he has out so far is that Jared Goff is the highest ranked NFC North quarterback. Jared Goff was ranked number 10. I already said that. But there are 4 quarterbacks that are currently kind of vying for starting jobs in the rest of the NFC North. Obviously, we know that Jordan Love is the starter for the Green Bay Packers. He was ranked number 13, which, okay, I guess I can kind of understand it because Jordan Love is not a rookie, though this technically was his first year as a starter. It was a pretty damn good year as a starter. But he has had time in the NFL. He was the backup behind Aaron Rodgers, so okay, fine, whatever. Then you have Caleb Williams being ranked number 20. As a rookie coming into this situation, I can get on board with that because Caleb Williams was the number 1 overall draft pick. He's below average in terms of the overall ranking, or if you want to talk about where, Chris Sims' 40 is at, that's right smack dab in the middle. So okay, I can get on board with that. Then you have J.J. McCarthy, who's ranked 30, and Sam Darnold, who's ranked 33. So what Chris Sims is doing there is he's showing there is a clear disparity, if you will, between the top 2 guys in the NFC North, which is obviously Goff number 1, Jordan Love number 2, and then you have whoever's going to be the starter for the Vikings, and obviously Caleb Williams, because Williams and the Vikings starter are closer to the bottom of the list, whereas Goff and Love, they are up near the top of the list. So I can definitely understand and I can definitely see why Chris Sims got that right because, well, that actually makes damn sense. Because it's like, listen, Goff was the best quarterback in the NFC North last year. There's no debate on that. Jared Goff went further than anyone from the NFC North in the playoffs. Jared Goff did better than any quarterback in the NFC North in terms of statistical production. So it's like, yes, Jared Goff should be the top-ranked guy from the NFC North in Chris Sims' list. But my whole point is this. I am happy about this whole thing just from one standpoint. The fact that Chris Sims finally swallowed his damn pride. He finally admitted that, yes, Jared Goff is a top 10 quarterback, which I have been saying now for at least the last 2 years. And it's, again, one of those things where it's like, I know Chris Sims probably doesn't watch my content, and I don't really give a turkey if he does or doesn't. But the point of the matter is that I have been saying this stuff for a long time. And when people finally actually prove that I was right, even though I have no influence in what they do or don't do, it definitely makes me happy because it's like, listen, Goff should have gotten the kudos that he's getting right now from this ranking and what he's getting this year from all these other analysts last year. In fact, he should have gotten them in 2022 when he put up that great year with a rookie freaking, offensive coordinator, only his 2nd year into Detroit, and the Lions had a winning season and were that close to making the playoffs. Jared Goff should have started getting more accolades in 2022, but he really didn't start getting them until the end of this year, and especially when the Lions handed him his new contract. That was when people really were like, okay, we can't look at Jared Goff as a bridge quarterback anymore. We can't look at Jared Goff as what we used to think about him in 2021 and early 2022. The entire narrative has changed. The entire idea has changed. We can't use that anymore because when a team gives a quarterback a 4-year, $212 million contract, at that point, the bridge quarterback narrative just simply doesn't fit anymore because you don't make that kind of a financial investment for a bridge quarterback. You cannot say that that quarterback is not good when they get handed a $200+ million contract. It just doesn't work. So that's why, finally, Chris Sims and the rest of the NFL analysts are looking at Jared Goff and they're saying, oh, well, yeah, you know what? We were wrong because now the Lions have shown to us that they are invested in Jared Goff. Even though they've been saying it the entire time, it's just now, as the saying goes, they put their money where their mouth is. Even though I knew that was what was going to happen all along. But regardless, I'm not going back down that trail. The whole point is, I'm finally glad that Chris Sims decided to wisen up, decided to use his head for half a moment, and decided to give Jared Goff a top billing, even though the 3 guys that are in front of him should not be in front of him. But again, I'll take my victories where I can. But having said that, I think I'm going to end the episode, and I just want to say to everybody, thank you all for watching in another episode of MCM, Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, I highly encourage you all to watch the next episode. Also encourage you all to do one of these 3 things. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If by chance you subscribed in the past and you forgot to do so at the time, or you just subscribed and not had a chance to do so, again, I highly encourage y'all please to subscribe. It helps out the channel. But I also encourage y'all please, make sure you also hit that bell notification icon as well. Please, please, please. The more we can get people hitting that notification icon means the higher probability they come back to the channel as soon as I release new content. That right there has probably been the biggest issue I've been having, is that a lot of my subscribers are not coming back to the channel once I release new content. I have over 6,000 subscribers, but views right now are really, really down. So if we can get more people turning on that notification icon, the better it helps out the channel. I also would encourage y'all, please share the content with your Lions friends and family members. Share it here on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it anywhere you possibly can. Hell, share it on Twitter. I don't care. The more we can share it, it helps out the channel, and it really extends the reach, and it brings in new viewership. It brings in more people that can talk and have conversations with us. And with that being said to everybody, I hope you all enjoyed the content. I hope you all are having a good day. I hope you all got something that makes you happy and makes you smile. God bless, and until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.